This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
It is Thursday, the 11th of April, 2024. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. This is news to 6 a.m. on News Power Digital. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley has called for a ceasefire in Gaza to enable the delivery of aid to Palestinians. He made the plea in his greeting to the Muslim community on the commemoration of Eid al-Fitr yesterday, Wednesday. Eid al-Fitr is a national holiday in TNT and marks the end of the holy month of Ramadan, of fasting and reflection. Finance Minister Colin Imber has expressed confidence in the new simplified procurement regulations and will improve the ease of doing business while still maintaining the objectives of the Public Procurement and Disposal of Public Property Act. In a release dated April 9th, he advised that the simplified procurement regulations are applicable to the procurement of goods and services and works valued up to $1 million or less was signed into law. Imber said the regulations were grounded on the amendment in Section 58A of the Public Procurement and Disposal of Public Property Act, which was passed in the Parliament on July 2023. The Act proposes to introduce a streamlined procurement process for both public bodies and participating suppliers, contractors, and consultants up to $1 million. Minister of Tourism, Culture and the Arts, Ronald Mitchell, is inviting interested parties to partner with the government for a renewed international Soca Monarch competition in 2025. He made the statement at the Trinidad Unified Calypsonian Organization TUCO's private Thanksgiving ceremony at Queen's Hall in St. Anne's on April 9th, where the finalists and winners of the National Freestyle, National Extempo, National Road March, and National Senior Calypso Monarch competitions received their prizes. In his address, Mitchell said he was looking forward to more Calypso shows and a greater interest in Tuco competitions. He pointed out that Calypso Monarch Marshall Montano intended to defend his crown next year and said entertainment, there was a product and event life cycles in which interest waned and surged. He also said in terms of the Soca Monarch, the competition of some sort of renewed competition was expected. Opposition leader Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, accompanied by several incumbent UNC MPs, will today file nominations to contest general elections. At Monday's UNC meeting in Enterprise, Chaguanas, Prasad-Bissessar said the hours of filing election nomination has been extended to 6 p.m. today, when submissions end. Screenings are due to begin next month. Party officials confirmed that Prasad-Bissessar will be accompanied by other MPs to the party's headquarters in central Trinidad at around 1 p.m. to file their nominations for Superior. Among the MPs who recently pledged their support following a recent fallout from MP from Mayara Russian Paris call for UNC elections in June. Expected to accompany Prasad-Bissessar are Barry Padarath, Princesstown, Khadija Amin, St. Augustine, Dr. Rudal Munilal, Urapuch East, Dr. Richard Sichuran, Caroni East, Arnold Ram, Caroni Central, Dave Tanku, Urapuch West. Point-of-Peer MP David Lee is facing 2 criminal charges, has not yet indicated whether or not he will seek nomination for the seat again. Opposition Senators Jayanti Lakshmi Dayal for San Fernando West Naparima, Damian Lyda, Kubutu Manzanilla, Deputy Leader Julian John for La Hoka Tal Power are also set to be filing nomination papers today. Chaguanas West MP Dinesh Rambali has signaled his intention not to seek the nomination. The official funeral for retired Chief Justice and first President of the Caribbean Court of Justice, Mike de Labastide, will take place today. The Office of the Prime Minister and Communications confirmed the funeral will be held at the Church of the Assumption, Long Circular Road in Maraval from 10 a.m. Condolence books were available to the public in memory of Justice de Labastide. In news of the region, St. Vincent and the Grenadines Parliament approved legislation providing stiffer penalties for some firearm-related offenses and creating new ones, including trafficking in firearms and 3D printing of firearms. St. Vincent Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonzalez piloted the legislation. He said while the penalties are not the highest in the region, they have moved from the middle of the range, reflecting public concern about gun crimes and consensus among legislators. And finally, the United States Labor Department says American inflation jumped as fuel and housing costs rise. It explains consumer prices in the U.S. rose faster than expected last month, a sign that the fight to slow the inflation has stalled. Prices rose 3.5% over the last 12 months to March, up from 3.2% in February. Higher cost of fuel, housing, dining out, and clothing drove the increases. And that is news to 6 a.m. right here on News Power Digital. We'll have major news coming your way at 7 a.m. Good morning.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
All righty then. Good morning, neighbors. Good morning, neighbors. Good morning, neighbors. We now know what Paul did on the weekend. We did. We certainly did. All right. Thank you so much for joining us on the Power Breakfast Show on Power 102 Digital. Of course, I think we have full casting this morning. I think Wendell will join us. Of course, Paul Richards, he'll be in. That's Super Paul. And Richard Ragoobarsingh. We got Ruben and Shade. My name is Steve Khan. Before I say my hellos, good morning, Paul.
Good morning, Steve.
Well, I want to ask what you did on the weekend. We now know.
I did a lot of work.
We know you did a lot of work. We saw that. We just saw that.
There's several others.
They are. Okay. All right. 24 degrees at Piarco International Airport, 25 and Crown Point and copy and paste. Yesterday is what you're going to get today. All right. Traffic-wise, just going through Chase Village, you've got some traffic. Charlieville towards the interchange, some volume. The interchange to Port of Spain, well, to Barataria. Also got some volume after Barataria. It's not too bad into Port of Spain. Trinity City to Huey, you got some. And you got some from Arima Old Road, volume again, as you pass through by Trin City Central Road heading westbound. All right. Of course, let's use Sanders. Hello, first thing this morning, we have Oliver Man Warren, we got Mo Gaines, we got DJ Ray in Tampa, Marcia Rock out in Orlando, got Silly in Valencia, Ray out in West Palm Beach, Florida, D. Pierre, Wendy and James, Wayne B. in Covington, Georgia, Sasha out in London, Rena Boodoo Jennings, Maria Celia, Carol Guevara, Carol Joseph, Sherwin Kerr. Let's see. All right, and that's it. All on Andre Reno just popped in. Let's see what we got on WhatsApp. I've got, who's this? This looks like Michael. I was right. Good morning, Michael. We have Captain Ron. Where in the world are you today? We got Dan Raj. We got CMJ. Yeah. All right. That's the hellos. So what did you do, Paul? What you did on your day off?
I did work.
Yeah. Same here. Same here. It's a quiet Eid. I ate like a hee-haw, oink, oink. That's what I did. I ate like a pig. No kidding. I did. I ate a lot of food yesterday.
I'll leave that alone.
Yeah, leave that alone. All right? Just leave that alone. Boy Badesi, good morning to you as well. Another scorcher ahead today. That is correct. Rena Boodoo Jennings. When I opened my laptop yesterday to do some work, I saw the temperature on the bar. Said, new record. I said, whoa. I was indoors most of the time, so I didn't really feel the heat. But the little times I went out, I said, whoa, it is scorching. It is scorching. Of course, we are on the 11th day of April. And we have the rest of April, we have May, and then hurricane season starts on June 1st. And they say it's going to be quite active. All right. Let's say good morning going out to Wendell Stephen.
Morning, Paul. Morning, Steve. Morning, Richard. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. And good morning, listeners and viewers all over the globe. It's Thursday morning. I'm on this morning because I can't make it tomorrow. And of course, yesterday was a public holiday in Trinidad and Tobago, celebrated all over most parts of the world. Eid ul Fitr. I'm still not sure if it's Eid ul or Eid al because a lot of people do it differently. I don't know what's the difference. But Eid Mubarak to the Muslim community on the celebration of Eid yesterday.
Yeah. You actually got it right this year. The
In
moon
terms
was
of
sighted in having the holiday and Eid on the same day.
okay.
Remember,
All right,
you
well,
have to look at the moon. So what they did on
Yeah.
Tuesday, the moon was seen.
Mhm.
So if the moon was seen yesterday evening, today would officially be Eid.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. That's
So, what was I? What was I? I saw videos. I sent videos of you guys of politicians publicly giving something I'm always not in favor of. Politicians have this public display of giving hands in terms of handing out money. The opposition leader did it, and of course, two government ministers, Kazim Hussein and Stuart Young, did it. I don't like it. I don't like to see it. I'm not in favor of it. I know it. I know it's part of the Eid celebrations, giving arms, but politicians, in my humble opinion, should steer away from that public stunt, which is what I call it. It's about publicity stunt. It may mean a lot to the people you're giving it to, and I think it really should not be publicized. That's how I feel about it. So I didn't like the video of Mrs. Prasad Bisasa doing it, and I equally didn't like the video of Minister Kazim Hussein and Minister Stuart Young doing it. I don't like to see it. I always believe the left hand should never know what the right hand is doing. It's a code I live by, and it's a code that I subscribe to. But a lot of people feel that doing these things publicly, it will get them in favor. I don't know why. Just do what you need to do to help people and don't make it public. It doesn't have to be public. That's my opinion. You don't have to agree.
If you do not have to be in the vicinity of Long Circular Road and the Assumption Church, I would avoid that area today if I were you. The funeral service for the late Chief Justice and first head of the Caribbean Court of Justice, Michael Lamsteed, will take place from 10 this morning, which means it is going to be a traffic-filled area.
Yeah.
And that road is already a difficult road in terms of traffic. And there are going to be dignitaries and basically the entire upper levels of the judiciary. I'm almost certain, I have no confirmation, that Her Excellency the President will also attend. I see that Her Excellency attended the funeral of retired Major General Ralph Brown on last week. Or was it earlier this week? It could be earlier this week. Yeah. So I have no reason to doubt that Her Excellency will attend the former Chief Justice's funeral. But the Chief Justice is the highest office holder in the land.
And the acting Prime Minister also. He also attended Major General.
Yeah. So if you can avoid that area, please do, because it's going to be very, very traffic filled from about 9 this morning with lots and lots of restrictions. And there are a couple of schools in that area, which should be in session while the funeral is going on. But getting to and from Maraval to Long Circle is always generally challenging in that area. So if you can avoid that area, please do this morning.
Later on today,
moving to Central Trinidad, the leader of the opposition, Mrs. Prasad Bisasa, is expected to head to UNC headquarters today to file nomination papers for the general elections, which may imply to some that there may be no internal elections. Which I think is what Rushton Power told us when we interviewed him a couple of days ago.
Well, I think I read an article over the weekend that says, I think I read an article over the weekend that says that the membership voted against holding the internal elections because to focus on the general elections. Didn't I read an article like that over the weekend?
I didn't see it.
Yeah, I think I read a story over the weekend online that pointed towards that.
Mrs. Pasabi Sessa is expected to be accompanied by Princestown MP Barry Paderath, Khadija Amin, Dr. Rudan Munila, Dr. Rishad Sichuan, Anil Ram, Dave Tanku. It is unclear whether Pointe-a-Pierre MP David Lee will be actually filing nomination papers. Also, opposition senators Jayanti Lachmidial will file for San Fernando West Naparima. Is that the seat Faris Alarina holds?
I thought Ali Bokas was going to do that. I thought he filed for that.
I see he's also filing. There's nothing stopping everybody from filing.
Okay, you mean in addition to him?
Yeah, they will all be screened. I doubt whether Mr. Ali Bokas can get the jump and send to Lachmidial. But he's free to do that. Damian Ryder, Promoter Manzanilla.
Oh God, is kicking out Rugby already?
It's a nomination, Wendell.
Let me provoke now.
And Deputy Leader Julian John La Hoketa Talparu.
Oh God, she going back there with microwave and fridge again?
Chaguanas West MP Dinesh Rambali has signaled his intention not to seek the nomination.
That's no surprise.
So
who's going Chaguanas West? Because that's the safest.
I don't know.
That's one of the safest UNC seats it out.
I didn't see anything about Anita Haynes Allen.
And what about Russian Parry? Is he filing?
The article does not identify that he'll be filing today either. So, but today is the last day they could file. So if they have intentions of contesting the seats or getting the nod from the UNC hierarchy to contest the seats, or the executive, I should say, they have to file today.
Why is David Lee not? Is it because of his criminal charge?
They said they do not know whether he's going to file.
Okay. Because he's on a criminal charge, isn't he?
You want to say it one more time?
No, is he? I'm asking a question.
As far as I know.
Oh, you just come across like you defend. Look, boy.
But you're saying it 3-4 times for a reason. You know why? You know exactly. You know exactly why you're saying it 3-4 times. And you know exactly why you're asking a question that you know the answer to. You are asking a question that you know the answers to. You are asking a question that you know the answers to for a particular reason. Ask it one more time.
Does the article indicate that, Paul Richards? I don't have the article in front of me because I'm using my phone, so I cannot read.
Yes, it is in the article.
Okay. That part is in the article.
Now?
So why you didn't read it?
Because I read it at 6 a.m.
Okay. You're lucky. I didn't hear you.
I am not lucky at all. I'm astute.
Get away.
I know you're up to your mischief.
And leaving him alone.
Okay. You know exactly why you're asking it 3-4 times. You ask it once, I take you on. You ask it twice, I take you on. We'll ask it again.
All right. So we know why David Lee may not be filing. Thanks for clearing that up.
As well as he may file, I don't know.
All right. Interesting.
Stranger things have happened.
Who's filing for St. Joseph for the UNC?
It has not been stated.
Okay.
But I guess we'll find out by this afternoon and the news tonight. The news by 4, 6, or 7, we'll find out.
Are they contesting the 2 Tobago seats?
I don't know.
Well, then they're not a national party once again. Go, get away. Leave us alone. If you're not interested in fighting all 41 seats, you're not a national party and you don't deserve to be running any country.
You're no longer in Amsterdam. You're no longer in Amsterdam.
No.
Is what?
No.
You're no longer in Amsterdam.
I'm in Scotland. Didn't you see my status yesterday?
Yeah. I could tell that you're no longer in Amsterdam.
You find I get antsy. You find I get antsy.
Days have passed since you had your services. I could tell. And it's colder, so I could tell.
God, it's freezing.
Yeah, I could tell that you're colder and that you have not had your medication. If other player I'm having get free this morning, but we'll get a copyright strike.
Yeah, we get copyright.
Oh God. But wait,
Minister
as you talk about copyright, I watched a video this morning. I watched it just before I logged onto the phone about some artists, some of those conscious artists, King, Sasha, Prophet Benjamin, King David. They put together a very nice tune against what's happening in Trinidad and Tobago
I heard so.
in terms of
I
the
heard it's a
vibe.
very nice song.
Can we play it?
We can, but we get a copyright strike.
Yeah.
Oh. Because I think it's a lovely rendition, and I hope that other artists take example. I think the end of the video
I think they need to be
actually,
commended.
yeah. Well done, guys. I don't know who actually wrote it. I think credit was to David King. Is that the person name?
Possibly.
Yeah. You know, but
And they more than likely would have written their individual parts themselves. So
yeah, but I think it's a
but
wonderful
they need to be commended. It's a very good bit of work that focuses on discouraging young people from picking up guns and joining gangs and focusing on positive things. So good for them. Tourism Minister Randall Mitchell is inviting interested parties to partner with the government for a renewed Soca Mona 2025.
Mm-hmm.
That could be a question this morning. Do you think Soca Mona is still a viable competition?
Oh, I actually wanted to ask about that public display of arms giving, in light of what we saw yesterday for Eid, you know, with the politicians. Now, as I say, it disturbed me, and it always has disturbed me, and it disturbed me even more yesterday, you know. And of course, the media highlights these things. I don't know why, you know, to go, you know, have other people doing it. We're putting the politicians there for, you know. But I'm cool with any question. It doesn't matter. I'll piggybacking on all your program today anyway. So
the operative word in that is
both are very operative words.
you know, I saw a video, a very disturbing video, with two disturbing videos over the weekend. One of a fracas involving a woman challenging a man in a car. And the man is asking to be left alone, and he eventually comes out of the car and is very abusive to her after she seemed to be, I don't know what happened before the video started, but the instigator. And there was a lot of discussion as to whether he was justified in slamming her against a wall. And
that's the one on Independence Square.
That's about 2 weeks old, actually.
Yeah, that's a bit old.
I just saw it this weekend, and people were trying to part them and separate them. And it's interesting, you know, people have the strangest way. Yes, he was seemingly provoked from what I saw, but you know, they just, well, she deserved it because she provoked him. And then I saw another video yesterday and an update on Ian Allen's page, where a man was being very physically abusive to a woman, and people called the police and took them to the police station, and she opted not to press any charges. And I'm always confused because I don't know the exact law on it, whether or not officers can proceed. And maybe Jaron or somebody could tell me, even if the female or the male who is seemingly subject of the abuse decides not to press charges, if officers can still press charges.
Well, that's the main witness. The main witness, not the corporate.
But if you have other witnesses, because it seemingly happened in a public place, because people call the police. So if Richard is logging on now, so I guess he could answer. If the main complainant decides not to go ahead, and there are other witnesses. Good morning, Ragoobarsingh.
Hi, good morning. Morning,
Hi,
Richard.
Richard. Morning,
I was
Richard.
asking a question about law and whether or not officers can lay charges against someone who is accused of abusive behavior towards someone else, even if the subject of the abuse, the victim of the abuse, decides that she or he does not want to press charges.
If the victim doesn't want to, let's call it, contribute to the case, you're going to have a difficulty, because in a
But as the main
criminal
witness.
offense, you're going to need a victim, and if the victim is saying, well, no, I'm not willing to testify, I don't want to participate. You could try, because once a criminal offense has been committed, depending on what it is, of course, but it will obviously weaken your case.
Yeah, it'll be wasting the court's time.
Because remember, you have to have if there's a crime, there has to be some sort of victim, whoever that victim is, and
identify the victim. So if the person say, well, nothing happened, and it wasn't abuse, there's little nothing law enforcement can do, or the criminal justice system.
But I mean, if you have other compelling evidence, you could try, but the participation of the victim in a case where the victim, of course, is alive, murder is a different kettle of fish. Then obviously you're going to want the victim's support in the case. If the victim is a hostile witness, which is what you're suggesting, or is going to be hostile in terms of the process, it just weakens the case.
Yeah, and this David Frost and the trial is saying the person may need to provide a medical. They may not want to subject themselves to medical for forensic evidence about abuse taking place. I understand.
Yeah.
They would have to willingly go to the hospital. And then the hospital provides a medical to the TTPS in the circumstances of assault and stuff like that. But that's what I'm saying. If you don't have a participating victim in terms of situations like that, it weakens your case. It becomes more difficult. And remember, the TTPS, like every other institution, does not have limitless resources. So there will always be a weighing of, is this case worth going forward with in terms of the resources, vis-a-vis another case where the victim is absolutely saying, yes, let's go ahead.
Yeah.
All of those things we
willing to provide evidence and testify.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But remember, when a crime is committed against the state. So it's not committed against you, even though it's committed against you personally, it's construed as a crime against
the state versus X and Y.
That's why it's always police against so and so, or the state versus so and so. In other words, if the crime is sufficient enough, the victim may be irrelevant. I don't want to say irrelevant. Irrelevant is too strong a word. But ultimately, if there is enough cogent evidence that can show that a crime has been committed,
it's the state that's prosecuting the case.
But
it's the state.
With the victim as the main witness. The
state.
With the victim as the main witness, not so?
But if the victim is the main witness, you have a problem.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. If the victim is the main witness, you have a problem.
Yeah.
That victim is saying, no, I'm not participating.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Anyway.
The other matter that disturbed me a bit, although I think I saw, based on the headlines that people have shared, the Guardian headlines this morning, about the mother of the child who was beheaded. Because I was reading over the weekend, over the last few days, I'm saying weekend, today's Thursday, about the mother's response, and a lot of people found it was a little strange, her responding, almost like if she was defending the gentleman who she said never showed violent tendencies before, and he was always so good to was Amara is his child name? Was his child name? Right. He was always so right, Amara. He was always so good to Amara and so on. And it came across as if she was almost like defending him or thinking. But I saw that was corrected today by a headline saying that no, she wants justice. She wants him to pay the same price,
interestingly enough, Wendell, connected to what you're saying there, when I was watching news, this is just me, this is not a judgment on the lady or the birth father. But I'm watching news, and in the news, there was an interview with the mother, and the mother was talking, and then but she was off camera, you weren't seeing her, and you saw the father. They actually interviewed the father, and the father was on camera. I cannot understand. I understand media going to want to talk to you, you know. I cannot, in the recesses of my mind, understand how you could talk. If my 4-year-old daughter, she didn't just get in an accident, she didn't fall down from some tree and was injured and died. She was brutally murdered and beheaded by somebody that you know who supposedly loved her. Okay? But she's been beheaded. This is your 4-year-old daughter. I don't know where they have the capacity to talk. To the media, I am sorry, I can't understand it. I don't understand how you could have the presence of mind.
The simple explanation, Richard, is people grieve in different ways.
I saw that being offered to Paul as an excuse.
People grieve in different ways. Some people go into shock and suppress and don't deal with it immediately and have an explosion later on. And some people are inconsolable at the moment of the incident. People grieve in completely different ways, and they respond to tragedy in completely different ways.
I hear you.
So I also found her affect was pretty, I wouldn't say calm, but not how I would respond. Let me put it that way. Okay, her affect and his affect to the father was not how I would respond or I would be dealing with it. But human beings are totally different, right?
Well, I hear you. I hear you, Paul. I hear you, and you're right. But for me, it was like, I mean, I think that was one of those crimes that just sat heavily on the country on that day.
Yeah. Yes.
We may be desensitized on a certain level to crime, but there's certain crimes that just sit heavily on the country.
Well, that is not even a desensitization case. This is your child. So it's a personal issue. You understand?
No, I'm not talking about the parents at this point. I'm just talking about the circumstance of the case itself. Sat very heavily on the country.
I saw 2 interviews with her, and it struck me as puzzling her affect. But again, I cannot, or no one can know what's going on in her mind or her heart, and how she's processing this. If she is racked with guilt, if she is distraught, people express grief in different ways.
Now, if what she's saying is true, in that he has never been violent toward her or the child in the 4 years, I think, if that is true, then this would be even more troubling for someone to snap to that level and behead a child. First, to begin with, I think they were having an altercation. She left, based on what I read. She left to go to report it to the police station. She said she tried calling the child to go with her, but the child was occupied with her tablet or whatever and was laughing. The child was actually thinking they were joking. They were having fun. That's what I read. And she left the house to go to make the report, only to come back to see the child dead and the child's head in a bucket and the man sitting there. Now, just imagine that for one moment.
Wendell,
I would have a psychological break at that point.
There are some fathers who would be sitting down in jail right now.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. I'm going to repeat a story that I said before on this radio, at the risk of offending, at the risk of affecting some family members, right? But it happened years and years ago in St. James. My father's sister was married. Her husband died. And this is a long time ago. And her husband died, and she started seeing this gentleman. And I remember sitting around the dinner table with this gentleman, I as a child, and we never liked him. He didn't say anything. He wasn't angry, he wasn't quarrelsome, he wasn't violent. But I will always remember him at the dinner table with his glasses on, and he looked over his glasses. You know those people who pull down the glasses and they look over it? I always remember that about him. And he was quiet. He would take us out for drives and so on. And she was murdered by him on the streets of St. James. The day she came home, and that was it. And then he simply just snapped. We don't know why. And he walked into the St. James police station after. That is a story that our family went through. And just like that. And I could tell you prior, he never displayed any violent tendencies because we were there in the same house with him. You understand?
I mean,
But
yeah,
it's a story that lives in my memory forever and ever and ever. Never knew what became of him after. Because my father and well, the family consists of just 2 sisters, and she was one, and boys, about 7 boys. You understand? And they I remember when they came when that news came home, they went looking for him, but he walked to the state police station straight after.
I am not sure I'll be able to maintain my law-abiding composure if I come and see my child in that state. I don't think that the police will have very much to do. Let me just put it that way.
That story is so bizarre, even from an international point of view of what's going on around the world. It is bizarre to that level. And you know, let's talk religion a little bit here. And I know there will be justification, but where God is in all of this? You know, these are the kind of incidents that I ask myself, where is God in all of this? At the point that the man about to do that, why didn't give him a stroke? Why didn't intervene in some way? So where's God in all of this? It's hard to rationalize if you believe in God and you believe in that supreme being. Where is their presence in the ugliness of this?
You know how I try to rationalize things like that? That his intervention may have been in the fact that we weren't facing 2 deaths and a suicide. You understand? 2 murders and a suicide. Or something. I tried to rationalize it. I hear you, Richard, because we've been down this road before, in terms of where is God when this evil looks, but just it goes to show that if you don't believe in God, then you have to believe in the devil.
But let me ask something. When there are reports of her being the subject of abuse before this incident?
Not according to the article.
No. Not according, because when in the interview that she had on one of the television stations, and of course, this is no inference. When we say he and all of that, is whoever committed the crime. You just had to be, you know, level playing field here. Whoever committed that crime, why God didn't intervene. But Paul, in the interview that she said on one of them, I can't remember, TNC3 or TV6, she did say that no, he's never been like that before. He never exhibited anything like that before, and was very strange on that Monday night when he erupted in this period of violence.
So where does the information about the history of mental illness come in? Because that was in one of the earlier stories.
I don't know, but I just saying what she said. But there was also an interview, or certainly a report of a neighbor. I can't remember if it was an interview or if it was just reported, but a neighbor said, and the neighbor said that she didn't hear the child scream or anything like that. And she knew something was up because she saw the mother running towards her with her face in her hands. And that's when she found out about the thing. But she said that the man was always to himself. I'm paraphrasing here, but man was always to himself, and seemed to have a short temper or something along that line.
Yeah, no, I am of the opinion there must have been signs, even though people may have missed it. But there must have been some sign. But again, as I say, based on the article, it's difficult to tell because she said there was absolutely no history of him being violent towards her or the child. You know, and I mean, the father of the child, because he's not the father of the child, could probably say something, maybe that, you know, she complained before, he heard so and so before, because fathers also know if they're interested in the child, they will also check. You know what I mean? If their child is living with someone else, you understand? They check. Most fathers check.
Well, apparently
Yeah.
she had custody. This is some of the
Mhm.
reports came out. She got custody of the child, and I'm not so sure what
One of the reports said he was seeking custody, but she had custody.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know if he had visitation rights or if that was also bad from him. I'm not sure. So maybe he had
Yeah.
visitation rights, Wendell. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Because the courts wouldn't generally prevent access unless there is some compelling reason to deny access. So I
Yeah.
want to assume that he had access.
Yeah. Which means he would have checked on his child from time to time, I'm sure. Fathers aren't all stereotyped into not caring. Even though they don't have access, they care.
But I will also say, and I am not taking away from the heinous and criminal act as it is, I don't think a normal head can decapitate a child.
No, that can't be normal.
I don't think it's just anger or criminal intent. It takes a different kind of abnormal mindset to and I think they said there were 2 knives nearby.
Mm.
And then I mean, audience, sorry for this because it's a really graphic conversation. And then to pick up the head and put it in a bucket.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
That speaks to something extraordinarily wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it is not meant to minimize his culpability for that horrible act in any way, but I don't know that a normal human being could do that.
Yeah, that can't be normal. Which is why when I read the first article of the comments of the mother, I'm saying, but she's giving this man a defense. You know, that's how I read it. I say, but
And sometimes, and I'm not sure if it's the case, but sometimes abuse victims do that.
jeez.
Anyway, anyone has papers?
No, I don't. Sorry, I don't have today.
You want Scottish news?
No.
Okay. Yeah, but
No, thank you.
have you ever heard how Scottish people speak? My God, you could barely understand that.
They might say the same thing about us.
No, actually, I interviewed a lady. I asked her if she would go on camera. And she said, no. I said, do you have difficulty hearing, understanding me? She said, no. She said, I said, because a lot of people say we speak too fast. She said, no, people say that about us too. Well, they speed. They don't speak fast. They speed.
6:44. It's Thursday, the 11th of April. Let's start with the Express. Makes CCJ TNT's final appellate court. And there's a story by Anna Ramdas, Helen Sidran, senior counsel. Young joins government call for ceasefire. Kamala, right international bodies. This is, I guess, in response to the Prime Minister asking for a ceasefire to allow humanitarian aid to reach Gaza. Mechanic dies after river beating. Reform Committee holds 14 consultations so far. Believers of Islam have stood strong over centuries. This is the view of Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley as he gave his Eid message to the nation. Fight fire with fire. Reintroduce the death penalty. This was the view of Interreligious Organization President Pundit Lloyd Mukram Sergio in a telephone interview with the Express. Of course, you know the death penalty conversation is back rife again.
Mm-hmm.
A minister saddened by horrendous act. Mom of 2 shot dead and girl 4 decapitated. Of course, this is from days ago. Let's move now to The Guardian. Death Too Easy, and a picture of Trisha Villarreal, the mother of Amara Lalit. She says death is too light a punishment for her daughter's killer. So, new procurement regulations become law. Heritage Commission's new well. New notes issued in 2019 cost the country $78.77 million. Kamla and MPs file nominations today. The front page of The Guardian is Amara deserves justice. Cops ordered to ensure man and sex assault charge appears in court. And Imam, running away from problems won't save TNT. Let's move to the Newsday now. Soca Monarch comeback. Culture Minister laments absence from Carnival calendar as Tuka held its prize-giving function for Carnival 2024. MP seeks help from PM on bridge project, alleges extortion. Experts offer advice to deal with the trauma of killings. IMBA, simplified procurement regulations will improve business. Cops traumatized after Amara's murder. Kamla, bring home children stuck in Syria. Teen stabbed by 25-year-old lover. A Remo man dies after hit and run. And Soca Monarch comeback. Culture Minister laments the absence of the Carnival Commission. Special joint court sitting for Michael de Labastide. And of course, his funeral, the former Chief Justice's funeral, will be 10 this morning at the Church of the Assumption in Maraval. So those are trending stories in your Guardian, Express, and Newsday for today, Thursday, the 11th of April, 2024.
All right. So before we get into this morning's poll, let's give you the results of our poll from Tuesday, where we asked you, do you think there are supernatural evil forces involved in many of the crimes in Trinidad and Tobago? A lot of votes on this one, and it is tied. Let me just check it here again, just in case somebody decided to vote on it. But when 5 minutes ago, when I put it up, it was tied, and it is still tied. 50-50. All right, so let's get into this morning's poll. While Paul pulls it up, let's say good morning to a few people. Storm, Clement, Superville, special good morning to you.
Hey, hi. Morning, Miss Superville. I haven't heard from you in a while.
So I've put a twist on the death penalty debate. I'm not asking if to reintroduce the death penalty. The question is, will the reintroduction of the death penalty make a difference in the crime situation in TNT?
Yeah, good question.
Right? Will the reintroduction of the death penalty make a difference in the crime situation in TNT? Yes or no?
All right.
I like that. You're on top of your game today, man.
I'm usually on top of my game, yes.
So 222-8255, North Americans, 866-525-1099. Give a timely interruption there. And 825-1099, 866 North Americans, 866-525-1099. And of course, people on the streaming services and WhatsApp and stuff like that, you can send, well, WhatsApp, I'll give you the number for WhatsApp shortly, but people on streaming services and the web, you can send your votes via the message section there. And
what about us Europeans? I only hear North Americans. What about us Europeans?
You can send your votes
via YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn. Or
yeah, and you can also send
gentlemen, we have a lot of calls coming through, so let's get into it. Good morning, caller.
He ain't taking all of.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, hello?
Yes, hi, morning.
Yeah.
Yes, morning. Yes, I think it will make a big difference.
All right, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning and welcome back to Storm Clement Superville, who says she missed us on the radio, but she found us now. Well,
Yes.
good to have you back with us, Storm.
She's a long-time fan. I know.
Good morning, caller.
Morning. Yes, this is DJ Ray, and I said yes. This should have been introduced a long time ago.
All right,
Thank
DJ Ray out in Tampa. Good morning to you. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, gentlemen. Sandy Grandi. Richard, good morning. You preached today. My answer is no.
And
All
just for factual information's sake, the death penalty is still on the books, so we just don't apply it.
Yeah.
Anne Marie on WhatsApp says no. Trev in Arima. Trevor says yes. Michael out in London says yes. I'm just checking on WhatsApp here, on Facebook and YouTube. Sorry. Ooh, a lot of messages. So let's go. Good morning to Michael Robinson in Yokohama, Japan. John Cato says yes. Anthony Miguel says yes. Anthony Franco says yes. Mrs. R says yes. Maria Celia says yes. I'm trying to understand why she left the child. Let's
But
see.
she explained why, you know.
Yeah. Wayne B says yes. Michael Robinson says yes. Kazim Mohammed says yes. Lester Craigwell says yes. Terence Ramsudar says yes. CJ says yes to the poll. Morning, CJ. Cheryl Henry says yes. Dave Gosign says yes. Yvette Scipio says yes. DL says yes. Jacqueline Linfat says yes. Andre Reno says yes. Julia S. Batiste says yes. Storm Clement Superville says, I'm sorry. No. Okay. Slick Money Grip says yes. Royalty Forever says yes.
I have real votes this morning, boy.
Yeah. Adande Clark, Adonna Clark, sorry, says yes. Prada says yes. Faria Hayatali says yes.
While they thought that they get married, you know.
Okay.
Well, it was the breakfast like in Ireland.
Wayne Joseph in Ontario, Canada says yes. CPT Singh says no. Carol Joseph says no. Phantom Scribbler says yes. Eve out in Sugargorna says yes. Captain Ron, who's in Colombia, Bogota, Colombia this morning, says yes. Let's grab this call. Good morning.
Morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
I want to do like Paul in the Senate some days ago. I abstain.
You didn't abstain that before last, though.
Oh, geez. Thank you, Zena. Good morning, caller. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, Trevor in Georgia. Yes.
Trevor in
Night before last,
Georgia.
yes.
Thank you, Trevor. All the best to you. Huda Wells says yes. David Frost says yes. Carol Guevara says no. Pearl Corder says yes.
I wonder if there's one about anybody else vote like this. Wonder about my vote. So.
All right.
Yeah,
so our morning poll.
Yeah, I know.
Vote on our morning poll.
Anybody else vote like this? Worry about my vote.
Will the reintroduction of the death penalty make a difference in the crime situation in Trinidad and Tobago? That is our poll this morning. Vote on it. 222-8255. Toll free North Americans 866-525-1099. On WhatsApp at 318-1021. And of course on Facebook.
Being good looking at the disadvantages, you know, that's right.
Is that word independent before you handle? That's what.
Mm-hmm.
Helen
Prescott says
it have other independents that worry about them vote.
Helen Prescott says
You ever realize
no.
that?
Evans
They're not on
David
radio.
says yes.
They practice it in the media.
I got Cynthia on WhatsApp. Morning, Cynthia says yes.
I think it's because I'm good looking. That's what it is.
Could be that.
Evans David says yes via Facebook.
I got his
That's a lot of
already.
votes. Yeah. Will the introduction of the death penalty make a difference in the crime situation in Trinidad and Tobago? Yes or
Wendell,
No.
what is the breakfast like in Ireland?
That's our poll this morning. 222
I'm not
talk,
in Ireland.
222-8255. North
Scotland.
Americans,
Scotland.
866-525-1099. People on the web and the app, you know what to do.
Junior says
I do
yes.
experiment with food.
Junior says yes. Alana Simmons says yes. All right, let's get those votes in.
At
You
least
got
not breakfast.
4 minutes. Long Islander via WhatsApp at 3181021 says no.
You're not adventurous in what you eat?
No, not with breakfast.
Oh, okay. Because
Do you know I
you're
hear you
very
passed by me
adventurous
yesterday with
food.
CJ? But I wasn't home at the time. But I heard you passed.
Zina is a tour guide for CJ?
Joe Sam says yes.
Will the reintroduction of the death penalty make a difference in the crime situation in TNT?
Yes, you can have an opinion on this. 222 talk, 222-8255. North Americans, 866-525-1099. Ron M says yes.
Richard Duku says yes.
I say how I feel after the news.
And I'll be in the no section in this poll.
Yeah, we know that.
I think it will even for a short while.
I don't think so.
I think it will, even for a short while. Although some of them jumpy out, they don't really care if they're dead.
Nope.
Well,
Good morning, caller.
Good morning. I said definitely yes, but lawyers will make no money. That's what they go oppose it. Thank you.
Lawyers will always make money because
They will always make money,
want defending them.
And it's not only
win, lose, they still get the money.
Lawyers will
have to
always make
prosecute and
money.
lawyers have to defend.
And
Yeah,
remember
lawyers
that judges was once lawyers and magistrates are not once, but they are lawyers and they are magistrates. Magistrates are lawyers. So lawyers will always make money.
I think we actually executing a type of death penalty already.
I saw someone in an interview say the death penalty is active, but the criminal is executing a death penalty.
That's what I'm saying. We actually have a death penalty in a kind of way already. Because that fella, if he don't fall off a chair, anyway, I'm not sure.
But he could.
You also have the I don't know if you discussed this murder too, the murder of the mother.
It was gunned down, was executed.
And yeah, even though there were reports that she made reports to the police that her life was under threat and she needed protection.
For a while and constantly, and nothing happened, apparently.
And constantly made those reports and nothing happened. And now the police have said that they're on a manhunt. There's a nationwide manhunt for whoever.
For who? For who?
For whoever.
The killer of the mother of two. Wendell, and Richard, if the person do fall off a chair, they will die from soft tissue damage.
Or they'll be found hanging in some cell or something.
Remember, one dead the other day in the prison from soft tissue damage. Most doing soft tissue damage.
Yeah.
Rena Boodoo Jennings says no. Hector says no.
We still have votes coming in on our poll this morning. Will the reintroduction of the death penalty make a difference in the crime situation in TNT? That's the poll. And what's your opinion on that? Do you think it will make a difference, or do you think no, it's not going to make a difference?
See, they have my neck hurting, McGill.
I'm not going to that.
Crack out the neck, yes.
That's our poll this morning on this Thursday morning. The weekend begins tonight. People have the second after midnight. How remiss of that.
That issue with that woman, the businesswoman who was shot, executed in the car. I suspect a domestic situation there. The way that story was written.
No, it's not a domestic situation. But Wendell, there's a history. She was living in a particular area and she had an issue with the neighbor about the parking of the car, and the neighbor started to threaten her. This is according to reports. throw stuff at the house. There were shots fired at the house. She fled the house. She made several reports to the police. And the police, one of the reports from one of the relatives said the police used to say, why you wouldn't come in here? We investigating the matter.
Yeah.
And
Over
she
the
said,
parking of a car?
and she moved out of the neighborhood, and sometimes when she would be picking up her children, because she's the mother of 2 children, she used to think people were following her. And she used to go in by different places so that they wouldn't know where she was living. And she reported all of this to the police.
Okay, well, I didn't see that part. What I read.
Maybe the police needs to be like the 2 officers that pulled over the vehicle because the officers didn't have the indicator on. Go for retraining. Sexy San Fernando says no, it won't work. New Hampshire says what? Yes. KK says yes. Sunny says no. Dr. Nitz says yes. All right, continue to vote. And when the news is finished, we give you the. We know what Paul did on the weekend for sure. Let's get into our 7 o'clock major news.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
Trisha Villaruel, the mother of Amara Lalit, says death is too light a punishment for a child's killer. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley calls for a ceasefire in Gaza so as to enable the delivery of aid to Palestinians. Finance Minister Colm Imbert expresses confidence that the new simplified procurement regulations will improve the ease of doing business, and the official funeral for retired Chief Justice Michael De La Bastide to be held today. Details in a moment. This is news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. I'm Avril Sintelbab. Good morning. Trisha Villaruel, the mother of Amara Lalit, the 4-year-old girl who was beheaded allegedly by a close male relative on Monday night, believes that death is too light a punishment for her daughter's killer, saying instead she wants him to suffer. The 41-year-old woman said she and the 39-year-old suspect were in a common law relationship for 4 years. He had been in Amara's life since she was a few months old, according to the mother, and until the night of the brutal killing, he had been, quote-unquote, very protective of the child. However, in the days leading up to the incident, he began behaving erratically, inspecting the child's birth certificate and asking why his name was not on it. Villaruel said she never expected him to harm the child, who called him daddy. Amara is believed to have been killed between 10 p.m. on Monday and midnight yesterday at her 5th Street, 5 Rivers, Arouca home, when Villaruel went to the Arouca police station to report a domestic violence incident. Police officers accompanied Villaruel back to the house, which was locked and in darkness when they arrived. They called out to the suspect several times before he emerged bareback and wearing 3/4 pants. The officers instructed the mother to carry out a welfare check for the child. When she entered the house, however, she screamed uncontrollably, according to a report in the Guardian newspaper, upon finding Amara's headless body. The 39-year-old remains in police custody, and senior homicide officials are expected to approach the Director of Public Prosecutions for directions. A 19-year-old man is expected to appear before a master of the High Court today after he was charged with murder. Ezekiel Graves of Phase 1 Beetham Gardens was charged by PC Jurity of the Bassor Street Criminal Investigations Department following the advice of Director of Public Prosecutions Roger Gaspard. The accused was arrested by officers of the Homicide Bureau of Investigations Region 1 office after they conducted and concluded extensive investigations into the circumstances surrounding the death of 23-year-old John Dyer of 2nd Avenue, Phase 1 Beetham Gardens, who was stabbed at his home on 27 February 2024 and succumbed to his injuries at the Port of Spain General Hospital on 5th March 2024. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley has called for a ceasefire in Gaza so as to enable the delivery of aid to Palestinians. He made the plea in his greetings to the Muslim community on the commemoration of Eid al-Fitr on Wednesday. Eid al-Fitr, a national holiday in Trinidad and Tobago, marks the end of Ramadan, the holy month of fasting and reflection. Finance Minister Colm Imbert expressed confidence that the new simplified procurement regulations will improve the ease of doing business while still maintaining the objectives of the Public Procurement and Disposal of Public Property Act. The release on April 9th advised that the simplified procurement regulations, the regulations that are applicable to the procurement of goods, services, and works valued up to $1 million or less, was signed into law. Imbert said the regulations are grounded on the amendment in Section 58A of the Public Procurement and Disposal of Property Act passed in Parliament on July 2023. Minister of Tourism, Culture and the Arts, Wendell Mitchell, is inviting interested parties to partner with the government for a renewed international Soca Monarch competition in 2025. He made the statement at the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Calypsonians Organization's prize-giving ceremony at Queen's Hall, St. Anne's, on April 9th, where the finalists and winners of the National Freestyle, National Extempo, National Road March, and National Senior Calypso Monarch competitions received their checks. In his address, Mitchell said that he was looking forward to more Calypso shows and a greater interest in the two co-competitions. He pointed out that Calypso Monarch Marshall Montano intended to defend his crown next year and said in entertainment there were products and events, life cycles in which interest waned and surged. He also said in terms of the Soca Monarch competition that some sort of renewal was expected. You are listening to news on Power 102 Digital to 7 o'clock. Opposition leader Kamala Persad-Bissassa, accompanied by several incumbent United National Congress MPs, will today file nominations to contest the general elections. At Monday's UNC meeting in Enterprise, Chaguanas, Persad-Bissassa said the hours for filing election nominations had been extended to 6 p.m. today, when submission ends. Screenings are due to begin next month. Party officials confirmed that Persad-Bissassa will be accompanied by other MPs to the party's headquarters in central Trinidad around 1 p.m. to file her nomination for Siparia. Among them are MPs who recently pledged loyalty to her and the party following the recent fallout from Mayaro MP Rushton Parry's call for UNC internal elections by June. Expected to accompany Persad-Bissassa, Barry Padarath, the MP for Princestown, Khadija Amin, MP for St. Augustine, Rudal Munilal, MP for Oropouche East, Dr. Rashad Sicharan, MP for Caroni East, Arnold Ram, MP for Caroni Central, and Dave Tanku, MP for Oropouche West. Point-of-Peer MP David Lee, who's facing 2 criminal charges, has not yet indicated whether he will seek nomination for the seat again. However, opposition Senators Jayanti Lachmedial for San Fernando West and Naparima, Damian Lyda, Kamuto Manzanilla, and Deputy Leader Jerlene John for Lahoketa Talparo will also be filing nomination papers. Chaguanas West MP Dinesh Rambali signaled that he is not seeking nomination. And the official funeral for retired Chief Justice and first President of the Caribbean Court of Justice, Michael de la Bastide, will be held today. The Office of the Prime Minister, Communications, confirmed the funeral will be held at the Church of the Assumption, Long Circular Road, Maraval at 10 a.m. Condolence books were made available to the public in memory of Justice de la Bastide. Well, finally, here's weather news for the period today until midnight. Trinidad and Tobago, mostly sunny, slightly hazy, and at times breezy conditions, despite few brief isolated showers. Fair night. A mild concentration of Saharan dust is present in the atmosphere, so persons who are sensitive to these conditions are being asked to exercise caution. Look out for a forecast, a maximum temperature of 33 degrees Celsius at Piarco International Airport and 32 degrees Celsius at Crown Point, Tobago. Currently it's 26 degrees Celsius at Piarco and 28 degrees at Crown Point. Recapping your headlines to 7 o'clock, Trisha Villaruel, the mother of Amara Lalit, says death is too light a punishment for her child's killer. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley calls for a ceasefire in Gaza so as to enable the delivery of aid to Palestinians. Finance Minister Colm Imbert expresses confidence that the new simplified procurement regulations will improve the ease of doing business, and the official funeral for retired Chief Justice Michael de la Bastide will be held today. I'm Avril Sintilbab. That was news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. Look out for news in full at 12 noon and an update at 8 o'clock this morning. For more details, log on to power102fm.com.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
Alrighty, thank you so much, Avril, Avi Sinhilbab. for our major news. You can join her again come 8 o'clock for our news brief. All right. Quickly on this hot morning already, let's take a look at what's happening traffic-wise. Out of Diego Martin, you've got some traffic. Mocha down to the roundabout, also got some traffic. We got one accident to tell you about. It is right by, I think it's Riverview. Yeah, Riverview Terrace and the Saddle. All right, don't know which direction or how bad it is. Going up Lady Young Road, a bit busy. Lower Santa Cruz, where you think you're going to get traffic, you will get traffic this morning. All right, you new spots. Let's see. San Fernando, yep. Golconda Connector Road. After Freeport to Sugar Guanas and Charlieville to the interchange, you've got it. All right, so that's a quick traffic update for you. Let's see if we have any more votes on our morning poll. CJ from New York, who's in TNC, said, I finally met Zena. He said, such a wonderful person. Morning, Zena. Okay. All right. I do have some votes here coming in. Let's see. I have Dan Raj saying yes. I also have, let's see, Dre. Nice car, Dre. Says yes. And that's it. Yeah.
All right. So our poll this morning was, our poll this morning, is, will the reintroduction of the death penalty make a difference in the crime situation in Trinidad and Tobago? We had, in the allotted time, a whopping 60 people voting on the poll this morning. That's 60. And of the 60 people voting on the poll this morning, 48 of you said yes, you do think the reintroduction of the death penalty will make a difference. And 12 people said no, it's not going to make a difference. So 48 people said yes, 12 people said no, 60 people voting in the allotted time this morning on the poll. Of course, you can continue to vote on this poll throughout the day through our programming, and we give you the final results tomorrow morning, which will be Friday. Just reminding people, of course, that theater is on this weekend, on Saturday and Sunday at Queen's Hall, on Saturday at 8:30 and Sunday at 6:30. We have Love is a Walk is back at Queen's Hall by public demand. We're so looking forward to it. And of course, you can get tickets at the Queen's Hall box office from 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily. You can also get tickets at Electronics in Arima, Jabili Rawe in Tunapuna, K Squared Fashions in both West Mall and East Gates, Creme Fresh at Brentwood Mall in Chagonas, and Antoni's Florals in Val Park Shopping Plaza, which of course is just beneath the Val Park Chinese restaurant. Right around there, you can see Antoni's Florals. They also have tickets. Sharply Auto Services, and of course, who am I missing out? Am I missing out anybody? I don't think so. So that's the barrage of ticket outlets where you can get tickets to the play Love is a Walk. And trust me, you need some reprise from the stressful parts of Trinidad and Tobago society. You can come to the play. And of course, if you're visiting, you're also welcome to come to the play too. I think a lot of the, quite a few members of the diplomatic corps might be coming this weekend. So looking forward to a wonderful weekend of Love is a Walk on Saturday night and on Sunday.
Well, if Robert, Mr. and Mrs. Robert Taylor were in the country, I would have invited them to the play. But they are celebrating their anniversary today. They are ardent fans of the Power Breakfast Show. They live at Fernandina Beach in Florida. So happy anniversary to Mr. and Mrs. Robert Taylor. Very ardent fans of the Power Breakfast Show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course, TJ is in Trinidad and Tobago, visiting from New York. She'll be at the play this weekend. I'm sure she'll take a chance and visit Rumbox too, CJ. You're welcome to come.
And the pet butler.
So I get some fish food.
And dog and food.
Anyway, but the death penalty always sparks heavy response in Trinidad and Tobago. Eh? You see, just look at that poll this morning. The amount of people who came out and voted on a poll concerning the death penalty. You know, I don't know. As I said, I think we exercise a certain form of a death penalty already in Trinidad and Tobago, where people who are killed are being killed. We haven't heard a lot of the updates. The police service need to do something quick, and at least talk to the public, talk to the citizenry that these are the updates on what's going on. High-profile cases, commissioners of police or heads of sheriffs in different parts of the United States, they update the people. I don't know what to say.
Because holding people accountable is important. And the optics of holding people accountable reinforces the psychological safety that law and order is in place.
Yeah.
That's what it does. It reinforces law and order. Because the criminal element is also hearing that people are being caught. But I guess we don't see it that way.
Yeah.
And they said there's a manhunt out for that lady's killer, the woman, the mother who reported, who did what is required.
Yeah.
She sought assistance from the TTPS, made several reports.
She's not the first one.
But she's not the first one, no.
And that's why the police need to say something. How could people just be wantonly saying, we reported, I reported, I made several, and you ain't responding, you ain't defending yourself, or at least giving a saying, okay, yes, she did, or no, she didn't. Nothing, you say nothing, and people are dead. People going to the grave saying they report their problems to the police, or it was reported to the police, and no response on the GTPS.
I didn't see any.
On.
We have some calls, gentlemen. So all my lines are lit up. So let's try it. Grab some of them. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm voting yes to Trinidad. I'm voting yes to the poll. I have a quick question for Richard. What does Trinidad and Tobago have to do to rid itself of adherence to Pratt and Morgan?
CCJ. The CCJ.
All right. Where are you calling from?
That's Trinidad.
I'm in Trinidad, but I'm originally from Maryland.
Maryland. Okay. All right. Paul said the CCJ.
I tend to disagree with you, so Paul. I don't see the CCJ would probably have to. I think our politicians need to put something on the books to say we are not accepting Pratt and Morgan.
You can't, because at the end of the day, our final appellate court is the Privy Council. And the UK is philosophically opposed to the death penalty, so they're going to stretch out the time until the period within which you can execute the death penalty, no pun intended, expires. So because they're philosophically against the death penalty.
Yeah,
you can't unless you change the final appellate court, which is the Privy Council, you will have to subject yourself to them and their mindset.
But there is no guarantee that the CCJ is also going to overturn those decisions anyway.
It may not, but at least you don't know. But you know what the position of the Privy Council is, though.
Yeah. But the decision is the decision of many countries on the planet, Paul.
I am not saying no, but he asked a question, and I'm saying the only potential way I see out of it is that because the Privy Council has already indicated or displayed its position.
Yeah, but Paul, let me just put it this. I am saying we are a sovereign nation, right? Why can we not have something on our law book that says that if it takes more than 5 years for a case to be adjudicated, through all the ramifications that it go through, the death penalty will still be applied. Why can't we do that as a sovereign nation?
Because whatever laws that Parliament make are subject to constitutional interpretation and validity.
By the Privy Council.
which
In
is
the
our
end.
final court of appeal.
Yeah.
Even if you were to make a law like that, there is no
Constitution.
guarantee that the law will not be held to be unconstitutional. A
And,
court
and,
can
be,
hold.
and be challenged by and that's what
Yeah.
apparently not understanding. Because wherever our final appellate court is, whether it be the Privy Council or the Caribbean Court of Justice, they will make the final decision on the issue.
Yeah, he is thinking we can do our own thing.
Yeah. Thank you,
And forget
Marilyn.
about it.
But at the end of the day, you still have a final adjudicating court.
Yeah, you will always have a court that will adjudicate on the constitutionality of any law.
Yeah.
Hey, Marilyn.
In the Constitution, Richard and Paul, put it in the Constitution.
That we ignore the final appellate court?
Yes. In so far as Pratt and Morgan.
No, you can't do that.
Pratt and Morgan.
I'm done.
You can't do that.
All right. Thank you, Marilyn.
When it comes to the Constitution, a lot of sober thought has to be given to the ramifications of what you put in the Constitution.
Yeah. We have another call. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
I don't understand what all this fracas is about. Put the CCJ and done with that. All this already about sovereign and this, that is the problem we have here, Too much of all kind of thing to do to get something, people dying. Let me put
But
that
caller, I don't know if you were listening. Caller, I don't know if you were listening just now. Richard said that there's no guarantee either to the DCCJ will not go that way of the Privy Council.
Well, yes, what I'm saying is, watch me. I will vote 200, 300% for that because it's too much ups and downs and go to the this and go to the that. Let us put the CCJ Caribbean. For the Caribbean, let me deal with that and done that whole thing, all that sort of nonsense. And this issue with this lady with the child that was thing. I heard but Mr. Richard, the lawyer, he was indicating that he heard that an interview. I heard the interview too, but the lady, there's a neighbor who said that she knew. She saw that the gentleman had some funny ways. She knew he was ignorant, but he never was violent. No. That statement, he was ignorant but not violent. I think when you're ignorant in the sense that it means, not in the sense because she didn't mean that he don't know. He was ignorant based on his behavior. Means that he is violent. So in my estimation, based on what she said, and the woman came running to her and he was going to behead the child. So in my estimation, that gentleman had a clinical disorder all the time that was showing. And nobody was taking up that. Nobody was taking up that. Man had a clinical disorder all the time. Displaying to people because he used to be by himself a kind of way. And apparently it sung as though he used to be chanting and that kind of when you listen, what he's saying and things.
So I hear what you're saying and I understand what you're saying. But keep in mind, even if you think someone may be off, as they put it in colloquial terms, or ignorant or a little disturbed, I don't think any mother sits down and think that this man is going to behead my child. One. But I will say, and several persons have added this in a comment, and I agree with it. If you think that person is a little off, you don't know what they will do, even if it's what you may consider this level of harm or that level of harm. If you think the person is a little ignorant, your child may be in some sort of danger. And to me, that requires a particular type of response.
Yes, but Richard, I will tell you something. A lot of people. Now, I don't mean to downpress or anything, but technical data for people to absorb. That lady, maybe not at the level understand what was she seeing it as ordinary and not seeing it as a threat.
You're talking illiteracy here.
You're
talking literacy here?
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. I want to know, but that could be because watch me, the gentleman look, the other night I was home sitting in my gallery here. I saw a vagrant in the room with a long piece of stick about 4 feet long, a piece of iron. And at the end of that have a cutlass, like it welded onto it. And it sharp. I call the police. You don't wait until someone simply. But in that case, I think that the lady, she wasn't up to that kind of thinking, and that is what I want, because and to stay with the man for 4 years.
Yeah.
I'm not blaming her.
I hear you. You know, caller, but you are a mother of a 4-year-old girl. You're a mother of a 4-year-old girl, and regardless of whatever she felt that the man brought to her life, the safety of your child has to be paramount. It's been paramount in mothers.
It should be, and I thought that your response in a circumstance where you think your child may be in the most minuscule of danger should elicit a particular kind of response in aid of the safety of that child, no matter what you think it is.
What I'm saying is, it's not singing for what I hear, but she's not singing as though she had that kind of level of thinking. She's seen that as ordinary, you know. She's seen that he's just a little thing that she don't have the capacity really to understand the technical part of that. But I understand what all this is correct, you know, because that should safety of the child come first. But why said she lived with him for 4 years? So she could not have been a person who observing and find something.
So what you're saying is, in a lot of ways, she normalized his behavior.
Yes. Normalized.
Yeah, she normalized his behavior. Yeah.
But I think if she had sensed anything, she would have made it move fast, you know. But she not at the level of understanding. Some people behave like that. Things happen around them and they pass them straight. They don't even understand what is happening, you know. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
All right. Thank you. Let's keep it short and sweet. Lots of calls coming in. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning, yes. With regards to the death penalty, I personally believe once it is carried out, it will make a difference. Right? And one way we should go concerning the Privy Council is that we tend to let off politicians easy. And a referendum concerning the Privy Council or the CCJ will hold them to account. Because once we have a referendum and the majority give the verdict, we'll just sit back and wait for the politician to act on it, and we'll see where they stand. One more thing I'd like to comment on. The mother of the 4-year-old child, apparently she did an interview with Ian Allen, and she mentioned that on the day of the incident, the goodly gentleman was smoking marijuana and he was displaying a split personality. Just wanted to throw that in the mix because I heard nobody mention that at all. She said he was smoking marijuana and he was displaying a split personality. Thank you for allowing me to have this contribution.
I didn't hear the marijuana part, but she did say he was behaving strangely that day. She did say that.
Yeah.
I didn't hear about the marijuana part because Lord knows I just come from a place where I've never seen and smelled so much marijuana in my life.
Morning, caller.
Good morning.
And everybody was calm.
Good morning.
Go ahead, caller.
Good morning.
There's a certain facet of this in this thing that I find people not paying attention to. But I'm accused of police passion, so I will pick up the mantle. I want to know how, if I report that I am being followed several times, how does a police do that investigation from in the police station? How does
Nemesis.
Who is following? Yes.
Nemesis. Richard spoke about the woman reporting to police and the police response. Nobody in jump down is true, but you see where you talking, and if I talk, they go jump down with you in the chat. Richard had a message about it this morning and no response. But if you and I fake fire and brimstone this morning.
So I blame this entire situation on the TTPS because they didn't get off the laurel in the station and follow the woman in an unmarked vehicle, sit down in her vehicle and say, well, to prove I Miss Lady, you're going mad on no bus. Nobody ain't following you. That's just a car thing around.
And Nemesis in
the station. Go
Nemesis, do you know that the police did nothing? For a fact.
The woman didn't speak to getting any results from the police, and she's now dead.
Right. And unfortunately, she's dead. But do you know for a fact that the police did nothing?
This is why I'm asking the question: how you just do an investigation from any police station? Because
do you know for a fact that they did the investigation from any police station? Do you know that?
I don't even know the investigation. I'm asking how is it possible?
But you're making a statement, or is it a question you're asking?
No, he asked a question. He asked a question.
Okay, all right. Nemesis.
Go ahead.
We getting the roll eye, boy. Don't worry. Go ahead.
Right? I'm just asking a question. How is it possible? And you see, Richard, Wendell said it. If the police did in fact do something, by now they should make a statement to clear the name.
That is the part I agree with. That is the part I agree with. We've heard nothing from police communication saying that we did follow, we did investigate. But no saying, first of all, condolences to the family of the woman who was killed. The police condemned it in the strongest possible manner, and we will find the perpetrators. Following the statement, we did follow up, we did do this, or we didn't do that. That is what is missing. Again, and a statement I made over and over again. TTPS communication is poor.
Well, the TTPS says that they're on a nationwide manhunt.
Correct. Well, they find the police, so no need to issue a nationwide manhunt. But the point about it is that the communications person in the TTPS needs to be changed, fired, replaced, do something, because they're not doing a good job at all.
Are you sure they're being allowed to do what they want to do?
I'm now going to say that.
I don't know the intricacies of that.
Okay, all right. Well, I can't say what I want to say that I know. Very often advice is offered and not taken.
Right. Well, I can speak from my level that I'm not getting the information. We are not getting the information. We're seeing that somebody not doing the job. If they are being, if the turned, by the way, I see a video with a strange face, a strange silhouette of a man begging to come back to rid the country of no, let me not say that. He had on a Thanos ring, right? And he's saying that they need to bring back certain people. I don't know who they need to bring back. But I want to say to that person, Thanos wipe off half the planet, eh? So I don't know what is his plan to come back to do, if he wants to just wipe out people, if he come in to wipe out people. But I will leave that there. Have a good day, gentlemen.
Thank you.
I feel you have an obsession. You just go and find wherever this individual is putting out content to upset yourself.
Richard,
Yeah.
Did you say that the PTPS said that they are on a manhunt for the person? Is it that they are aware of who the person is?
Well, there's an indication. Remember, it was a neighbor.
Oh, so the neighbor has disappeared.
According to the story, the history of the sequence of events, she was reporting, obviously, a person. And then it became, I think my life is under threat, and then I'm being followed, etc., etc. There was a progression according to the stories in the media. I have to contextualize it by saying that. So there would be, to me, logically, there would be a reasonable suspect.
So is it that the suspect, who the manner, is it that the person has disappeared, has gone missing?
Well, in one of the news reports, it said that the person is in hiding.
Oh.
That's what they said.
Well, let's get the hunter search and rescue team involved in this.
That's what they said. That whoever is the person of interest is in hiding.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it's the person who actually did the murder,
or the person who did the threats.
But they got somebody to do the murder, something like that. Because you saw the video footage of the murder. I'm assuming you saw it.
Yes, I saw it.
Yeah, so we will see how it all plays out. But that one of the news reports did say that apparently the person of interest is in hiding.
Okay.
All right.
All
We have
right,
a
I didn't
call.
see that.
Morning.
Good morning again, gentlemen.
Good
Let's,
morning, ma'am.
let's hope by the time they find him, he is like most of the others and solve the whole process of us having to deal with Patton Morgan. Steve,
Mhm.
I know I directed I couldn't say direct. I recommend it as well, and I know that you have the best cat food. Do you in your shop? I didn't recommend them to Paul's direction because his cat food is that's conservative.
Substandard, it's substandard.
It's substandard, is that what you're saying?
Standard. No, you hear the word I said, the word I use. Well, maybe I should say his own is reserved.
Maybe the
Reserve.
cat
What do you
never
mean?
for you reserved because of your
Yeah,
age.
yeah. I'd
His
have good,
supply is
Zena,
reserved.
you either have good cat food or you have bad cat food. What does Paul have? Bad cat food, is that what you're saying?
No, the supply he has is reserved for special cats. My friend, CJ's friend,
What, Siamese, Persians, what type? I don't understand.
I can't remember.
I hope it's a rescue.
It's a
Or,
CJ. I don't think so, but it's CJ's friend. She showed
you
me
know,
a
there's a cat that's hairless, right? They have no hair in it.
Sphinx.
What kind of cat is that?
Sphinx.
It's a sphinx, eh?
Yes.
why you have
Yeah.
to bring that up? You like it?
That is
No,
the
well, I
ring.
have.
The one.
I find
If
it
you
very
raise,
No,
you
but
raise your sure
I
special
am
cat, Miss
talking
Lady.
about Steve. I am talking about cat food, and I want Steve to give the directions again because I couldn't really direct her properly. So, Steve, would you read it out? Let customers want to hear where they could get the best cat food.
Right. So you know Elscore Road, right?
Right. Well, let's read it out. Let them hear.
Well, let me just make sure you understand. So you know Elscore Road from the highway, correct?
Right.
You're heading towards.
With her friend.
All right. So you're heading north.
Right.
You know where the mosque is?
I don't know.
Okay. So there's a mosque. Then there's a wholesale place on the right hand side. And after you pass the wholesale place on the right hand side, you'll see our little store by the corner of Mirage and Elscore Road.
Right.
On the left hand side.
Right. So CJ, hope you all listen and take notes. And back to Paul.
Hold on a second, Zena. Hold on. CJ is visiting. Did she come with her cat?
No, she said her friend has a cat.
Oh.
For a week. Her friend.
Okay.
So she showed me it. I know, Steve, when you see a picture, you will fall in love with that cat.
Okay.
Right?
I know, John.
Paul.
Steve, you will love that cat. You will love it.
Stay quiet. I give directions. That's enough.
When they're quite over where you smelling marijuana every time and so much, you keep quiet now.
Oh, good. I never smoke a joint in my life, but Lord, I get high.
I know, but you wait till you come back at an upper level now. Keep part in this discussion. Paul, I have the remedy for your neck. Right?
Which is?
What?
You know, I have the remedy for your neck.
You're going to lose weight?
Pardon me?
You're going to lose weight? That is it? That's the remedy, you know. Anyway, Paul don't say that. Don't say that.
That's for who? You?
Eve.
Who you? You like bones?
You went down a particular road there, you know, Paul. You went down a road there.
You went down that road swinging your arms.
You're so concerned about the kangaroo you saw in the zoo. I know it was skin and bones and all, feeding it and all that. You don't like to see people when they're being fed properly.
That don't mean Fluffy should be overweight.
Oh, yes? But at least he should have meat on his bones.
Yeah, but don't mean that. Don't mean Puppy should be overweight.
You finished? You finished?
I'm not finished talking to Paul.
Yeah, I have a lot of calls, Zena. So
All right.
Puppy getting a little too plump.
I know. I'm gone.
All right, Tina, thank you so much for your wonderful contribution.
Yeah.
And of course, the sum total and moral of this story is that Steve Can has food for cats
that they will like
at the pet butler. So,
Marat and El Socorro Road have cat food, people.
That you will like.
That you will like.
My cat food too conservative.
No, she said your cat food was reserved.
It's reserved.
That's what she said.
It's for Sphinx, hairless cats.
Oh,
the wrinkly ones.
Morning.
Hey, morning, Wendell.
Morning, Mr. Patrick.
Morning, Mr.
Mr. Patrick, save the show. Mr. Patrick, save the show. Ask a million questions.
Yeah.
Save the show.
I sit down here and analyzing a lot of things, and I realize that a lot of people ignorant to the fact of mental illness. You ever hear the term inner violence?
Question number 1. Go ahead.
No, I say if you ever heard the term inner violence.
That's question number 2.
I know a question. I tell you what it is. Inner violence is when a person will sit down by you or observe you for a little while and very violent in the mind, and one day they lash out. They're very silent, moving normal, and one day they commit suicide. One day they kill somebody and they commit suicide. I said that person was quiet. Right? So a lot of people must do a little research. Now, marijuana in that place when it has different levels of marijuana which was prescribed by doctors. So it's a place where you could go and buy marijuana and smoke.
Mm-hmm.
You know that, right?
Yeah. That's question
number 4. Prescription.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Trinidad have different grade of marijuana. High grade, local, red ants, kush, compressed, black cigarettes. Marijuana affect people differently, brother. Not everybody who smoke marijuana does get quiet and look better. Some people when they smoke marijuana, high grade marijuana, they could do a lot of different things. And one of the worst things the government ever did was to decriminalize marijuana. A lot of children right now who go to school not functioning because of marijuana. Different type of marijuana I'm talking about. The local marijuana and that compressed marijuana. I rest my case.
All I can tell you is that the red light district, certain parts of Amsterdam, consists of coffee shops, which of course they do marijuana in there. Restaurants, lots of restaurants, lots of bars, and the sex, the red light, the red curtains. They all are in one space, and trust me, they all thrive. All.
Yeah.
They all intertwine, and as you come out of one, you're going the next one, and it's so the people going all day, whole night.
You know the term medical marijuana? It has medical marijuana in these free society, they call them. England, London, them areas up there. We could go in a shop and sit down and buy marijuana and smoke it. When you come on the streets, you could get locked up.
Well, you could do it in the streets here. In Amsterdam, you could do it in the streets.
Yeah, but you have to have a document.
No.
Believe, I was told that.
No.
I have Bobo Shanti partner that go all outside there and them just tell you how the things are going on out there. One time he smoked a piece of marijuana like he was going mad. And when he read the type of marijuana it was, it's a different type of marijuana. But when the guy smoked, he was smoking the thing the day and he started behaving irrational. marijuana, based on the marijuana, affect people differently.
But he might have been smoking what is locally known as a black cigarette too. It might not have only been marijuana.
Right, a black cigarette have cocaine in it.
Cocaine in it, yeah. It's possible. We don't know.
Compressed marijuana. It's that compressed marijuana that have the effect like cocaine.
Mm.
But a lot of people don't understand drugs abuse, the substance of drugs in your brain, the chemical imbalance. What you could do to you. Is that people that say they hearing voices? Kill that one, kill this one.
I have to admit, I have to admit, most of the people, if not all, who I know who smoke marijuana, all they feel to do after is eat and sleep. I've never seen them react violently or anything like that. They eat and they sleep.
Yeah, based on the marijuana they smoke. I see man smoke marijuana and they dive in the road.
Dive in the road?
Yeah, illusions. I see man smoke marijuana and they see red man and blue man.
No, that ain't a marijuana, man.
I tell you, compress. You ever smoke compress marijuana?
Hi, Mr. Patrick.
I never smoked marijuana a day in my life. Not one single day.
Good morning.
I right there with you. I've never been interested in smoking, period. Cigarettes or marijuana.
Never. Not cigarette, not marijuana.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
The person who is wearing that Sandhurst ring, I think it's time to take it off, because I think Sandhurst is so embarrassed by their behavior. I think it's time to take it off. Please. I listening to this whole thing with this shooting of this mother of two. And Richard, I'm sure you could remember, I said, I refuse to put cameras in around my house, because sometimes the footage, it does nothing for to help the TTPS in their investigation. I saw they didn't show the number plate of the vehicle where the guy jumped out of and went and shot the mother in her car, right? That is one. I don't know how the footage was. But if it is that they picked up that number plate, it could be said it would have been a false number plate, it was a stolen car, whatever. My question is, and I keep saying it, how people could be driving around in a stolen vehicle and they cannot be found, right? I keep saying the TTPS needs to do not roadblocks, random stop and searches, because that, I think, will bear more fruit. Because I remember in the east, somewhere in Tanapuna, they did a stop and search of a vehicle, 5 men in it or 4, and when they pulled them over, stolen vehicle, 2 AR-15. When they go and search one house in St. Anne's, boxes of ammunition, and only I want to carry out more stop and search, I say bring it on. But people complain, okay, they find the roadblock and they're keeping me back. That is necessary, because as I said before, if the police did not do that stop and search in New Jersey, all now so, Sean Paris would have been a free man and he would not have been serving a life sentence in our prison. So it is necessary.
All right, I hear you, caller, but let's go down the road. Let's go down this road of technology. They talked about just bear with me for like a minute. They talked about RFID plates for vehicles. And when we spoke to the commissioner of the licensing commissioner recently, he seemed to intimate that they were going to something beyond RFID license plates that was going to change to something else. I felt so. I felt he kind of indicated that, because I brought up that question of RFID license plates. But let's go down the road of RFID license plates, which can be electronically, your So it means it starts to move away from where anybody could make a plate and put it on your car. RFID license plates also indicate electronically who is the owner, etc., etc.
Right.
Couldn't you have a system where, because Trinidad and Tobago is a small space, that you have something like RFID license plates on all vehicles, so that even if a vehicle is stolen, it must pass on the roads, and you have cameras and stuff constantly monitoring those license plates, and will figure out this is a stolen car and register it immediately and start tracking the vehicle in terms of a connected CCTV network. That kind of technology already exists.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Richard, I always
that issue of that vehicle. Let's assume that vehicle has been stolen, or they changed the license plate. Something would have registered electronically already because they're traveling on the roads of Trinidad and Tobago.
But Richard, I always marvel at how you could go in any place. I remember a police officer pulled me over on Independence Square and I had my B14 and she said, ma'am, your number plate faded, that is a charge. And she tell me we could go in Bigger Martin there by the Jehovah Witness facing their church. And I say, how somebody could just go and put on a number plate on a vehicle? So that's why. So, Richard, let me tell you all something. There was a vehicle was stolen in Emerald Drive in Diamondville a few years ago. Let me say 4. That woman's car was taken away from her. She driving out her driveway. Car pull up, driver jump out. You know, they do it and jump in. That woman blue Honda Fit and they gone with it. They call West End. Oh, God. All right, even if they clear West End, it has 4 roads, it has St. James, it has the Beaton Barrett area. You know that woman's car was found in San Fernando after them fellas put on a robbery with that woman's vehicle? You serious? If you know that thing, this upset me every time I think about it. All them stations, all you can vote are APB. So all the modern technology, the police, they're lapsing, boy. This real upset me. What all you have modern? It has cell phone. Even if the phone in the station and walking, it has cell phone. What all you doing? Man, the bandits, them ahead of them are the scares. I told Marvin Gonzalez, the people with the master's degree, these fellas who never must see a secondary school, though this con all you get with it. Are really upset with this nonsense these criminals get. So them, I hear they have manhunt. Well, we hope before the week is over, they find, and it's not one they have to look for, it's 2, the driver. Because the driver didn't bring him, he wouldn't have reached the driver and the hitman. Lord have mercy, we're in a mess. Yes, Paul.
Yeah. And we have to fix the mess. We have to find a way to fix the mess.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you, Digger Martin.
You all have a blessed day. Oh,
yeah,
God.
and the technology is a big part of it. And I don't understand, because we have had this, and let's look at the RFID license plate as an example. We talked about that about what, 3-4 years ago? Somebody could correct me if I'm wrong.
Maybe longer than that, Rich.
And they said it was going to be implemented within the next 9 months, or some kind of statement like that. I remember when they said it. And I was saying, oh, God, so many thousands of vehicles will have to transfer, and how long that's going to take. If that's what it takes, I am sure Trinidadians and Tobagonians will ban their bellies and line up and get it done. However you roll it out.
Let me tell you something. Everybody knows I'm abroad, right? I've been driving through Europe over the last 2 weeks. And let me tell you something. They make it very obvious they're monitoring you. They have even the symbol of a camera up every hour and then. So you know it have a camera there. You don't even have to guess. They have signs, police checkpoint, big signs that you could see and read. So even if you're doing nothing, it invades your psyche that you are being monitored right through. And I'm talking about whether it was England, Scotland, Amsterdam. They are obvious signs.
All right, let's grab this call. Good morning.
Morning, gentlemen. How you guys doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm fine. Just taking the show. Listen, that lady from Digger appears to me sounds like she's afraid of technology. The part where she's talking about cameras around the house, ma'am, if you're hearing me, put your cameras around your house. These people, when I saw the thing on Yon Island the other day with the lady getting shot in the car, at least the police have a starting point. It's a crime scene. They have a better starting point. You know, and you can't be afraid of technology. And not because they have the cameras and as like what one of you guys were saying, and still some parts are getting, people are still getting through. That's all human error. The cameras are there, the technology is there, but still you need people to keep up with it as well.
True.
So you can't fight down technology. We go into the stores anywhere in the Western world and parts of Africa right now. You go in and the cameras from the stores are monitoring your face. They're checking to see if you were a shoplifter there before. You go into Walmart and they're checking your face, all in China, and the computers quickly check your background. So when you have, like what you said, you have a stolen car with false plates, and the thing is picked up, the camera picks up, the camera alone, the technology was coming quickly. Now it's reporting the matter back to whoever is monitoring it, and they now have to react. You can't abandon technology as because of human error. That's like telling me because the airplane is taking off. And by the way, most of the guys, I heard y'all ask question what's from United. Most of them are human error. And the one with the United flight running up the runway in Houston is because the captain wanted to get to the runway first. It's human error.
Yeah.
It's just human error.
I don't think, but I don't think she's against technology, you know. I don't think she's against technology, you know. I think the point she was making was that even when you have technology, it doesn't seem that the TTPS is interested enough in making sure that the technology works to reduce the crime. I think it was along that line she was going.
Yeah. This is what I'm saying. This is human. That there's human error right there. Yeah. Just like when I heard one of the guys said, "Oh, they should make a law that when you see a fighting going on in the street or in a school, it's the people to stop making films. At least one's supposed to take a film so we can see." And if you were seeing a fight and you're too scared to punch on and pull the person, at least take a picture so we can see.
Yeah.
Thanks, Captain Rowan.
Just to give an example. Yeah. Just to give an example of what Ms. Digger Martin referred to just now, why it just disheartens you. Somebody walked in my yard on the main road and stole a fan, a heavy industrial fan, expensive.
You didn't get
fan.
that back yet?
Get back what? Camera footage showed the person, showed the vehicle. I gave them the number. The TTPS came. 2 police officers came to my office, retrieved the footage from the VCR, the VCR. Up to today, I have never heard a word again from the TTPS.
Well, that is, you know, Wendell.
I give up. I'm sorry to say it. I give up. I would jump on a plane and go wherever I need to go to relax.
Wendell, remember when the plant was stolen in front of my house?
Yes.
And I went at 2:00 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I could look back at it now and laugh, but I was so incensed at the moment in time. But when I contextualize it in a Trinidad and Tobago situation, a man coming in the police station at 2:00 in the morning to say, "Hey, somebody just thief my plant."
Mm-hmm. What, he mad?
The police, exactly.
Yeah, you have to be a madman. A plant.
I remember when the policeman looked as if he was sleeping, his eye was red. And he had to now fill out a report. What is your name? Oh God, please be Smith. Please be something like, you know, John Doe or John Smith. Ragoobarsingh. Oh God, it's 30 letters. And you come to report what? Your plant gets stolen.
Well, have a wonderful day and be safe.
Yeah, we gotta run, gentlemen. 8:00 is 8:00 for news. We gotta go.
The 2 of them on radio. One complaining about a plant, the next one complaining about a fan. Why are they wasting my time so?
Exactly. That's where we live.
Yeah. Sadly.
I mean, it's sad in a kind of way, but it's funny, I guess. Anyway, have a fantastic day, whatever you do. Remember the theaters on this weekend. Love is a walk. And Sydney, you need to laugh in these times. Trust me. And it is absolutely hilarious. The Queen Sword box office opens from 12 noon to 6 p.m. So you can get tickets there on all the usual outlets. Check RSRR Productions Theatre on social media, and you get all of the additional information. Tickets are 200 general, 250 reserve. Have a fantastic day, whatever you do. The weekend begins tonight, people, at a second after midnight.
And I'm closer to midnight than you all. Folks, have a wonderful day. Remember to let go